Hey everybody, I'm Rick. Welcome to Talking Habs, where you get your daily fix of Blue Blanc Rouge. It is Saturday Hockey Talk, and we got all kinds of. No, we don't have a lot. There's not a lot going on. We're here to talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. There's very little news or anything going on. It's the slow time of the year, and yeah, we're stuck with what we got. Season is approaching. We are the 19th, so we are. I'm not. You know what? It's a funny story. I wanted to find out exactly what day the training camp opened up because I was writing. I was thinking of writing a poem about the approaching season and all that. So I spent about 20 minutes on Google trying to find that out, and nope. No matter how many times I Googled it, whatever I wrote, all it wanted to give me was the development camp that happened in July. They wouldn't get, so I have no idea the opening day of training camp. I do know that preseason games start September 25th. I'll be doing all the preseason games. I'm hoping to get the rookie tournament games. I might be able to. I've got the NHL package now, courtesy of Habs Guru. So thank you, Guru. I appreciate that so much. So I'm not sure if I get the rookie tournament, but I'll get the preseason games. I would anyway, but so I'll be doing that. I imagine if preseason games start on the 25th, I would think 21st or 22nd of September is when actual camp opens up. So it's not that far away. We're a little over a month away from camp opening up. So we can talk about anything like that. It's just right now nothing much happening. So the only thing I've got here, I got two items here. One of them is saying happy birthday to both Nick Suzuki and Carey Price, who both had birthdays this week. Nick turned 24 and Carey turned 36. I was going to say 26. He wishes, definitely. And then the other thing I have is it's kind of a question. Is Gary Bettman trying to get revenge on Montreal for drafting Logan Mailloux when Bettman didn't want them or any team to draft him? I kind of caught a clip from the Sick podcast, Tony Marinaro. They had Stu Cowan and Pat Hickey. And Pat Hickey was saying, like, basically, I think they were both saying that, basically, is he didn't want anybody to draft Mailloux, and he doesn't like when people do things that he says don't do, because they should have been cleared. He had his meeting, and he should have been cleared already. The consensus, though, was that there's no rush for them to have to announce it because Mailloux's not playing in the NHL this season, more than likely. And then if the Habs do want to call him up, I mean, I'm sure they'll just, they'll confirm. I kind of think he's already been cleared. But Bettman doesn't want to announce it because he's a piece of shit that likes to get revenge on, What's it with powerful men in the U.S.? Now I know Elon Musk is South African, but he lives there. All these rich people, they're such petulant little pricks. All they want to do is, it's my way or the highway. Like, I can't believe some of these people. Anyway, it's a rant I could get into. I'm not going to. Let's see who's here. Because who's going to listen to me anyway? And what difference is it going to make anyway if I rant about something like that? All right, hey, Tuco. Hey, Filibuster. Filibuster actually was good today. We had a conversation on texting each other. And I've been worried about Microsoft is discontinuing. Actually, what they said was there won't be it won't be part of the new update. Is my editor that I use. They're discontinuing or just not updating the editor anymore. I'm not sure, but Phil convinced me that it won't be taken away. I'll still have use of it. It just won't be updated, which is fine because I don't really need new features on it. So till I can learn a regular editor, yeah, he put my mind at ease a bit on that. So thanks, Phil. I appreciate that. Let's see. Phil says, what's on his mind? I guess, Allen's $3.8 million cap hit. Seems to be exactly the amount we are over the cap. Seems so perfect. I could accept a late pick to send him anywhere he fits. Well, but only thing I can say about that now, I don't know if that's what their solution is to get under the cap, but the last press conference Hughes had last week, after retrading Petrie, he said that at where they are right now, they don't have to do. I don't know if it's they don't have to make any moves or whatever they need to do, it's in hand. They don't have to worry about being under the cap because while they could put Carey Price on LTIR for off season, they want to do it in season. So I don't know if they have to move Allen to get under the cap because, quite frankly, I think they just have to put a couple of guys in the down in Laval, start the season, put Price on the LTIR, and then call guys up again. So I don't know. It's a huge problem, but they're confident they're going to be fine. Hey, at our tap, the next official training camp will be held during the period of September 23rd. Oh, it's off by a day, and October 4th. I think the last preseason game is the 7th, though. So that's got to be, camp's got to go till then. But I appreciate that because I Googled it at least 10 different ways. And I kept, all they would tell me is for the development camp. So I didn't know what I was doing wrong. I don't know what I did wrong. So anyway, I appreciate that. Mr. Mike. Hey, Mr. Mike, how you doing, buddy? Good to see you there. I don't know if you saw my comment. I just made a comment on one of your posts about so Mr. Mike put up that he wants to change his profile picture on Twitter. And he's like me, he doesn't pay the $8 because I'll never do that. And now you can't do that apparently. So I wrote that because Elon's broke and he needs your money before you're able to do that. So anyway, let's get back to hockey. Hey, Rems, maybe Bettman is angry at the CH. Probably is. He's angry at everything, but he shouldn't dump his anger at the kid. And if he would have penalized the CH for it, he would have done it by now. No, I'm not saying he's penalizing them officially. He's just getting his revenge. Looks stupid. Jesus, that looks stupid on me. Sorry. Getting a little vain here. Yeah, I think he's going to be okayed. I think Bettman just wants to hold it over Montreal for as long as he can because he's I don't know what the word is. Evil? Mr. Mike says DeSmith seems like the guy to move. Well, DeSmith is 2 years younger. He's making $2 million less. I don't know. Like, it seems like they're trying to move DeSmith, but you never know. Like, personally, at this point, when you got to think that Jake Allen's probably not playing in Montreal long past this season, right? So if he stays, he's playing. They'll move him in the off season. You got to think, right? Maybe if you can move him now, but it's going to be harder to because the contract's higher and nobody has money. But yeah, DeSmith does seem like the guy to move. But I'm just not sure if they're going to do that or what they're doing exactly yet. Hey, Sean, how you doing, man? This seems like the longest span waiting for hockey to start. No, it's pretty much the same amount of time. It's just that our season ended so early. So, but yeah, I mean, it's a normal amount of time. Hey, Ryan, what's going on with Logan Mailloux? I want to see him get a fair look at making the team. Don't expect Mailloux to make the team this season, out of camp anyway. And I imagine, this is what I'm not actually sure of. I know he can be in the rookie development camp, that part, no problem. But can he be at the main camp? I don't know. I would think he can be at the main camp, but since he's not cleared to play in the NHL, can't play preseason games. So I don't know what's going on exactly. Bettman is running $1 trillion operation. Is it not $1 trillion operation? He has little time for goofy crap like this. He's a big picture guy. His lawyers, all 11 of them, advise him on most decisions. When it's his decision to decide this, then he should have time for this little crap. Or put somebody on it who can freaking decide on these little things. Ain't born to be a Hab. Can't wait to see the progression of the young Habs in the upcoming season. Now, same here. Well, first, want to see who makes the team of the young guys. DeSmith, by the way, hey, Renegade Man, DeSmith, I don't think has packed because he and his wife are expecting. Yeah, he's probably not left where, he's expecting their, I want to say second child. I'm not sure if that's right. But yeah, he's probably not come to Montreal yet. But you got to figure it's a month away, training camp. He's going to have to eventually. Hey, Anthony, no more trades. It's quiet, man. It's quiet. What Logan done pales in comparison to Team Canada thing. 100%. Well, this was a point I think Pat Hickey made, that there's already guys playing in the league right now who have done way worse than Logan and Mailloux did, and they're playing with no consequences. Mailloux should get cleared by now. Habs have $6.7 million in cap space once they place Carey Price on LTIR. How do you see them using that cap space? Do we take on more expiring contracts to get more picks, prospects, or spend on a big piece? Well, first off, if they go, I don't think they're going to put them on now, because that $6.7 million you say they have in cap space, right? So that means there's about $4 million that. Right, it's $3.5 million, somewhere like that they're over. Problem is, you put Carey Price on LTIR right now, and nothing else changes as far as the cap. That means that 3 whatever million. If, say, let's give Brendan Gallagher gets injured and he's out for the season. Now, when you put Brendan Gallagher on LTIR, you're just getting the 3 something million in cap relief. That's the ruling when you start the season. On LTIR money, whatever you're over the cap that you would be, that's all the relief you're getting. So, no, I should say whatever. How does it work? Anyways, I used to know. Yeah, it affects how much money you get back in cap relief on injured players. So, if you're not getting full cap relief on your injured players that go on LTIR during the season, you're not going to really be able to manage your team properly, replace the players with kind of guys. So it's not a really great thing. So unless basically they go over the cap by $10 million before the season starts, then they put Price on off-season LTIR, and then that would be fine because, there's no other player. The highest paid players, Suzuki and Caulfield, and it's not $10 million, so they'll be fine. So that's why you got to. Anyways, that's why I don't know what I'm trying to say. That's why you got to manage it right, because you screw up your team. Like, look at Toronto. I don't know what they're going to do, but they're going to be kind of screwed that way. They got to go on in off-season LTIR. I don't know what their limit, what's going to be, and how much they're going to be able to get back on cap players. But say, they got some big money guys. If they go out, they won't get full relief. And do I care if the Leafs get relief? I don't. J-Fed, I don't think signing his entry-level contract has anything to do with him actually being able to play. So I don't think that would have stopped him. But I think he'll get cleared. It's just, what kind of a game is Bettman playing? Yeah, Rems, I kind of agree with you on that. Anthony thinks 2 more trades before the season starts. It wouldn't shock me, but it's hard to predict, right? Hughes plays his cards close to his chest. It's really hard to predict. Am I hearing anything about Monahan or Dvorak to Boston? I know, but I probably saw the same thing you did. Now I want to say it was. I'm not sure what online site put that article out. I saw something about it, and I've seen nothing else since. I don't believe it. I think it's clickbait by somebody making up story to get attention, because I've seen nothing else. Dvorak, yeah, makes sense. I don't see why they would do that to Monahan or with Monahan unless the price is right. Could Boston use both of them? Yeah, they need a couple of centers. So yeah, but I have heard nothing other than reading one article from a site I don't fully trust, as far as, being accurate and not being just clickbaity. Sean, yeah, well, that's kind of what I was saying, right? They can send 3 guys down, start the season with their 20-man roster, starting roster for the game, and then put Price on LTIR, and then bring the guys back up. So I don't think it's a big problem at this point. So we'll see how they handle it. But Ryan, what are they going to do if you have 6.7 million in cap and Price is on the LTIR? That means that you put him on the LTIR for that 3-point-something million, right? That's all you're going to get back. If guys get injured and they're on LTIR during the season, is a max of 3-point-whatever million. That's it. Not 6.7. I don't believe that. I think it's the other way. Dvorak to Boston, but Dvorak's injured, so he's not starting the season. He's on the injured reserve list, so that could make a problem for dealing him right now. So I don't know. Anyway, we'll see. It's a rumor. I mean, rumors are what they are until they actually happen. Board to be had. Price might be placed on LTIR before the season, but Hughes did say they'd rather wait and do it in season, and that they're on track for that. They shouldn't have a problem with it. So, do I think Montreal should target Nylander or what? We need a guy that doesn't go into the corners, that's afraid of getting hit? No way. Watch him play. He holds off going into the corners when there's a big guy there. I don't want Nylander anywhere near my team, except on the opposite team. If you let both Dvorak and Monahan go, then you have no one really to win faceoffs. Possession game becomes a liability. I kind of agree with that, right? I think Dvorak, I could see Dvorak being moved. I don't think they're moving Monahan right now. Why? Because you're not going to get max value for him, right? You're not, until he plays and he plays well again. And I don't think you're going to get max value. I don't see why they would do that. With Monahan, they're probably so much better off waiting till the trade deadline, because that'll maximize his value, in my opinion. If he's been playing well, he hasn't been injured, you're going to get max value for him at the trade deadline, especially with our GM. Comments are coming in faster than I can read them. Phil, that's a good point. Nylander is looking for $10 million next season. We don't want that. We don't want a guy coming in this season, then next season asking for more than he's going to get, and then holding out and whatever. So no, screw Nylander. Well, that's his girlfriend's job, not us, but that's her problem, not ours. Hey, Oases. I'm not that I was right. I wasn't 100% sure, but I figured that he was going everything. It made sense that they were going to move Petrie. But I don't know. I thought a possibility that he stayed, but with the Habs holding 50% of what was left on his contract, you got to figure there was no way Petrie was staying. Like, there were teams that were going to be interested and were going to give at least a decent return. I don't know if that Devo will get traded to Boston. It may be eventually, maybe before. Not often that teams trade for guys that are injured. It's not often that happens. So, yeah, that's I don't know. Boston needs centers. I know that. Devo to Boston for a pair of mid picks. What do you mean by that? Mid round, like third and fourth? Again, he's going to have to be off the injury list, I think. Nylander is a playoff guy that won't go into the corners in the playoffs, even in the playoffs. So why do you want a guy that's afraid of going into the corners? And that wants $10 million because he's a big shot. No, he can go stick it up his ass. Ryan says he'd rather make a serious offer to Pedersen next year, not me. No, he's too small. He's a little bit. You hear stuff about him being a bit of a prima donna kind of guy. I don't know. And he's not a big guy, so I don't know why you'd want him. Because he puts up points, but he's going to cost 10, 11 million, and I don't think we got the money or they're willing to pay that. Do I think Allen will be traded before season starts? I think it's a possibility. I don't know that. I don't know that I think it for sure, but I think it's a possibility. Phil says Armia to Laval for 1.2. I think it's 1.1 capita compensation, and that sounds fine to me too. And quite frankly, I believe that will happen. So doesn't make sense to me that they hang on to Armia for don't waive him, keep him in the lineup. Why? Even if he has if he has a decent year, you can move him. Okay. But what are the odds of him having a good year? Maybe Boston will go after Peterson. There you go. They need a center. Paul, I'm not sure what you're saying there. Montreal player injured before the season starts. That could happen. Will Slavzilla have a better year? I believe so. I'm kind of expecting Slavzilla to put up somewhere in the area of 40 points. So we'll see. Screwing Nylander is not his lady's job. What are you talking about? It's his lawyer's job. But that's different. That's like a secondary thing. I'm sure if you told Nylander, hey, your lady's job's not to screw you, he would go, hey, wait a second. Don't tell her that. Hey, Kim Ferguson, how you doing? I think maybe it's time to give Primo a chance to back up Monty. I don't think Primo's ready for that. I mean, look at his numbers. His numbers are I don't want to say that they're abhorrent. They're horrible numbers until he can prove anything. So maybe if he has a good camp, but I don't know. Personally, I think I'd send him back to Laval, and then in season, if there's injuries, I'd call up Dobish. I'd let Primo stay in Laval for a year, the whole year, and nothing but the whole year. But as backup, I don't think so. I think if they do move Allen, I think they keep DeSmith. Entertep says if we pay a player $10 million plus, it won't be Nylander. It definitely won't be Nylander. Allen and DeSmith should be traded. I don't know. I don't think Primo's ready. And if the team isn't as good as we'd like them to be, that's not going to help him. So I don't know if it's a good thing. Toronto has to find a way to sign Matthews to a max deal if they're trading Nylander. Good. Yeah, I hope they do. I hope they sign him to 8 years at $15 million, and it just totally screws them because they're already screwed halfway to hell anyway this season. with the moves they're making. So I hope they make it worse. Why not? We're in a rebuild. Wait, we're in a rebuild. Anyone other than the young guys could go anytime except Monahan. He's trade deadline, I think for sure, unless we're somehow real good and they want a good pick this year, then go for it. I don't know. That was a lot. I'm sorry. But yeah, no, I agree with that. I don't know if everybody's available, but I'm sure there's lots of guys that could be available. Phil, the problem with Phil says agree. I'm giving Primo some trial by fire. Monty 40 games, split the rest with Primo and DeSmith. Allen to anywhere for something. Maybe Arizona. Have you seen how many picks they have? Here's the problem. Either you're carrying 3 goalies or you have to waive Primo and DeSmith to put them down. They're going to get picked up. Well, DeSmith will get picked up, I think, on waivers. So you'd lose DeSmith, and you might lose Primo too. One of the two anyway. And then where's your plan? Who's the highest paid player on the Habs? Nick Suzuki. Not by much, though. $25,000 over Cole Caulfield. Matthews will end up screwing the Leafs and leaving them without any compensation. That's what I think will happen. Hey, Joe. Joe, you answered that, Suzuki. Florian will go into the corners. Yeah, Florian will go into the corners. But so what? Florian is going to be what, a fourth liner? He's going to go into the corners, what, for 8 minutes of the game? What about the rest of the game? Carey Price is the highest paid Hab. That's true, actually, Carey Price. But I think we're talking about guys that are actually going to play this season. Suzuki's getting $7.875 million. And Joe's right. Price is not relevant when it comes to salary this season. I'm sorry. I don't agree that you would put him in there. Well, you don't do me a favor if you don't list everybody's salary. Geez. Rick, what line pairing do you think Habs will go with? What do you mean by that? You talking about defense? The pairings? Because when you say pairing, I think of defense, but you say line, I think of forwards. Yeah, I don't agree with you there, Phil. There's some nights when it's just, yeah. So, yeah, sorry. I don't agree with that. On the good nights, you do the love thing. On the other nights, it's just, yeah. All right, enough of that. I agree. Yes, they have been your right, but I believe he would play better under Monty. Caden Primo would play better under Monty because why though? What would be the difference under Monty than under Carey Price or Jake Allen? Did they browbeat him? I don't think so. Waive Primo and trade Allen. Yeah, in the end, that might be what they do, right? Because to put Primo into Laval, they got to waive him, so he's no longer waiver exempt. So, yeah, that could be what they end up doing. You said Dvorak was injured. I thought they were supposed to get injured during the season. Well, but, that's a bit of a smart alecky answer when you don't know that Dvorak had surgery, I think in March or May, and he's recovering from the surgery to his knee, and he needs a few extra weeks. How's that hard to understand? Toffoli contract is up at the end of this year. I'd like to see him finish a contract with the Habs. Won't happen. Next year, we will be 1 year further into our rebuild and making playoff push. Won't happen. Toffoli's 29. They're going to be 30. They're not picking him up. Nothing against Toffoli, just it's not going to happen. What elite players are available right now? Elite players usually aren't available. Hey, Matt, how you doing? I'm well. I hope you are too. Savard trade would free up money. Do you think he will be better to have or go? He's got 1 year left. I think at the trade deadline they move him. I think they like Savard. They need some veterans in the lineup. I don't see him moving, except at the deadline, because you're not going to lose him for nothing. So I think that's where it'll be. Ryan, I agree. Neil, he doesn't suck. I mean, he's a decent player, but I don't want him here. Okay, I'm not sure. Are you spelling Dobish? I don't know a lot about Dobish. I know he's a very talented kid. He's got potential, and he's playing his first professional season this season in Laval. We'll have to see what I haven't seen him play, so I don't know that much about him. I think Habs make playoffs this year. Wild card. Their defense is stacked, and their forwards. My worry is goaltending. Well, you say their defense is stacked. I don't agree with you there. I think eventually their defense will be stacked, but you're talking about a bunch of second-year players, sophomore players. I don't know that you can say their defense is stacked for next season. I don't agree with you there. But Phil, when you carry 3 goalies, you take 1 roster spot away from a player, which means you can only carry 1 extra player. Defense, and you got to pick defense or forward. It doesn't work. Teams don't carry 3 goalies. There's a reason for it. And I don't think Montreal will either. The whole point this season of getting rid of Hoffman and Armia and all that is to make roster spots for the young players to come and play. And if you carry 3 goalies, you kind of negate that. Allen and his contract gots to go. Yeah, well, I think it's a good possibility they will. And either way, I kind of think it's Allen's last season here if he plays the season. Like, I could see possibly Allen going at the deadline or in the offseason next year. That's a good one, Phil. Phil says, imagine a golf team made up by ex-Toronto players. They would dominate by all their experience alone. Lose Primo on waivers and give a chance to DeSmith. I don't think the Habs think that way. They haven't given up on Primo from what I'm reading, and they don't want to lose Primo for nothing either. So, but like you say, waive him, and if somebody takes him, which I don't think anybody will, not with his numbers. But if they do lose him that way, they're losing him for nothing. It's not a great way to manage assets. Well, KB, if you really want to see that, I've got a video out on that. You know what? I got the video out. I've made my guesses there. I'm going to update that again as we get closer to camp. But right now, I mean, it's still a little hard to tell because there might be guys still moving. I don't know. But personally, I think it's going to be. I'm going to give you the defense pairings that I think are going to happen. First pair, Matheson and Gooley. Second pair, shit, I haven't really thought this out. Wait a second, let me think of who's here. Savard's going to be on the right side. Left side, Harris and Savard. And then third pairing, Jack-Eye and Kovacevic. I'm not sure about the new kid we just got. I don't know where to put him in there yet. And I think Justin Barron is going to start in Laval. And it's possible another defenseman starts in Laval, right, between Jack-Eye and Harris, because Lindstrom is not waiver exempt, and neither is Kovacevic. So you put either of these two guys on waivers, and they're going to get picked up. Jeez. Kim, I'm not sure who you're talking about. Won't be thrown to the Wolves this year if he did play. You talking about Primo? Hey, fellow Rick, how's it going? Hope they give RHP a real shot. I do too. I hope they don't. See, with RHP he's also waiver exempt. So when they're, if they need to send somebody down, he could go down to Laval. I don't think he should. I think he's earned the right to be on the roster the whole season, but that waiver exemption kind of makes him likely even to maybe go down for a certain amount of time. Andy Frazier, how's it going? Can I please get a birthday shout out for my homie Nick Gurr? Who's that? No, you're not going to get that. I figured that one out really quick. As a matter of fact, you know what that's going to get you? That's going to get you banned from the channel right now, because I don't put up with that fucking bullshit from any racist piece of shit like you. Sorry for the swearing, but he deserved that. Goddamn racist, man. They just bold these days, man. Who would you rather see go? You want to give me some options? That's kind of vague there. I could pick anybody. ABL, Allen, Monty, Primo, Dobish, and even Fowler are just keeping the crease warm until Gabriel Daig joins the Habs in 2025. Yeah, I don't know about that. I personally think Fowler is I think Fowler is the guy that's probably the future starter for this team. It's a funny story about Fowler. So today I was trying to decide a video. So I thought, my Jacob Fowler video did well. I'm going to do another take at Jacob Fowler. So I write for a couple hours. I get my stuff together. And then I say, let me go look at the video I did just to see if I missed anything or whatever. So I watched the video and I looked at my notes and I went, well, the video I'm about to do is the exact same video I did. So not doing that. So I wasted my day today. I don't know why I didn't realize I was doing the same video. First of all, Gabriel Daig's not drafted yet, not by the Montreal Canadiens. And Dobish and Fowler are here. Fowler's a serious candidate for a number one starter's job down the road. I'm not saying he is definitely going to be that guy, but he's a serious candidate for that. So it's not to say they wouldn't draft Daig if they have the chance and they want to. That doesn't mean that, but considering Fowler's here before Daig ever gets here, if he ever gets here, I think Fowler's going to be the guy that gets the first chance. That Habs fan 14. Welcome to the channel, buddy. Dvorak, Allen, or Armia? Oh, okay. That's who asked me that question. Who would I rather see go? Well, I mean, I don't have to think about that for too long. The last guy on your list is the guy I'd rather see go right now. So Armia. But I think it's a possibility all three of those guys don't really play here in Montreal this year. It's a possibility. And I hope for Armia, it's a certainty. Hey, Joe, how's it going? Do I see Slav getting a chance playing at the top 6 by the end of the season? I think he will play third or fourth line minutes at the beginning of the season. I think third line. Is it a possibility? Of course it's. I mean, if Slav just has, what if he has a great year and he's just off the charts? He's going to move up. I don't think that'll happen though this year. I mean, he's only 19. I'm not going to put that on him, right? If he does it, he does it. If not, I'm happy to see a solid 35 to 40 point season from him this year. Paul, I'm not sure. No, but what? Now you're just trying to pick little. Come on, it's not an injury; it's an operation. Why would he have the operation if it wasn't from an injury? So it becomes an injury. How does that not make sense? What's up? My nipples in a cold wind. Not much. I mean, it's quiet these days. Frederick. Hey, Frederick. It's been a while. I don't see Kent signing high salary UFA. I don't think so either. We'll need a shitload of money to sign the upcoming defense. I think when all our core young have matured, there won't be much free cap space. Yeah, but things will change over the years. Like guys that you think are gonna, there won't be here. Some guys will be moved. I mean, they're going to manage the cap. I wouldn't worry about that. But I agree with you. I don't think they're bringing in a high salary UFA. Nope. Tony the Mark. Boy, there's a lot of new names in here tonight. Good to see you. Do I think Ulanen will be slotted in that left side fourth line? Not that easily, no. It's not. I think there's not a lot of spots open, right? So Ulanen's going to have to win a job. So to say slot him in, no, none of these young guys are just getting slotted in. Not on forwards, no. I think it's going to be tough for Ulanen. We'll see what happens with him. Kim, Hudson and Reinbacher, you got to figure Hudson probably by the end of the season when his college season's done, he's probably joining the team. Reinbacher, I kind of think this way. I think trading Petrie and then getting Lindstrom, I think it takes away the need to have Reinbacher on the team this year, right? So it doesn't matter whether he plays well or not. I think he should go to back to Switzerland. And that I think that's the plan basically. And then next season is different. But if he's off the wall great in training camp, he could make the team. I don't think he will though. Will Hudson and Reinbacher improve their power play? Yeah. Big time. Waive Armia. Yep. Waive him, trade him, send him home without his lunch, do something. Hey, Shazan, don't worry, not late. It's still got a bit of time. You wouldn't waive Armia. What would you do with Armia? Armia's a good veteran presence, and they need that. They need if you're going to have a veteran presence, don't you want him to produce instead of just taking up space, being a veteran? No, I want my veterans to produce. When you say good third liner, yeah, every sixth or seventh game, he's a good third, fourth, second line, whatever line you want to put him on. What about the rest of the games, though? That's the problem. Why am I putting Gooley on the right side? Because Gooley can play both sides. As a matter of fact, didn't he play on the right side last year when he was on first line? I could be wrong, but I think that he does. From what I understand, anyway, Gooley can play both sides. And I could have been wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure I'm right about that. What do I think about signing Alexis Lafreniere to an offer sheet? Nope, no offer sheets. Rangers only have $2.2 million in cap space, but they're negotiating with him, and just like we're over the cap, they can make moves to make that work. And I don't think they're trading Lafreniere, and I wouldn't offer sheet him. An offer sheet, you're going to have to overpay him, and you're going to give up assets to do that. No, I don't think so. Excuse me. Did somebody ban somebody, or was it just me? Why is that coming up so late? Who was the guy I banned? What was his name? The only reason I'm asking that is because it just shows me a comment from the guy I banned, I think. But that was a while ago. Why is it just showing it to me now? Am I that behind? Oh, I guess I am. Grant McCagg thinks Lindstrom could be on the second pair. Yeah, I read that actually. I think so too. I don't think he'd be a third pairing guy. So, listen, there's a lot of competition in camp coming up, and it's just going to make for a lot of what's the word? One more. There's a lot of competition. It's going to be hard to tell exactly how that defense is going to look like, you know. But the competition is really good to have, so we'll see how it works out. Kim, Armia's had a chance to thrive in Montreal for, I want to say, 5 years. First two were good, and then he got signed to a decent to overpayment anyway, and his play has been down the hill. So, what chance do you want to give a guy like that? I don't want to give him any more chances. Give him a chance with another team. Send him somewhere else and let him get a chance there. JFed says Deg looked terrible at the Linka Gretzky Cup, BL. Hey, Automatic. Good to see you, buddy. How many points do I think John D gets? 2 games on the Habs. What? Who's John D? I'm trying to think. Well, you gotta. I don't know. It's just not coming. Drouin? You mean Drouin? Oh, I get what you're saying now. I get what you're saying now. You know, I said this already. I kind of think. I don't know. I kind of think Drouin is gonna disappoint in Colorado as well. How many would he get? 2, 1 a game, 1 assist each game. I don't know. I think he kind of is going to disappoint over there too. Do I think a guy like Emil Heineman have a higher potential than Raphael Harvey-Pinard? No. Probably roughly the same. Heineman's probably only you're looking at a third liner. I don't think he's going to be a top 6 player. Whereas for Harvey-Pinard, he can play in the top 6 when needed and for a long period of time if needed. But I think in general, Harvey-Pinard's a third liner as well, or fourth liner. The difference is, what I don't know about Heineman is Harvey-Pinard on third, fourth line will produce. He'll produce better numbers than you think, and I'm confident in that. I don't know enough about Heineman or have seen him play enough to know that, but he impressed in camp last year, Heineman. I think he's got a shot this year to make the team. I'm not saying he will, but I think he has a shot. Engstrom. Entertap says, I think Engstrom will surprise many and make the team sooner than we all anticipated. I don't know a ton about Engstrom. All I know is from what I'm reading from people who are in the know, they believe Engstrom is a dark horse to make the team. The possibilities there, but there's so much ahead of him. I don't know how he does that. So he'll have to play like crazy good. Do I think Slavkovsky have more potential than both Heineman and Raphael Harvey-Pinard? Without a doubt. I'm surprised you even asked that question. You're talking about potential, right? It's potential. Slavkovsky's got huge potential. Harvey-Pinard has big potential. Heineman has potential, not the same amount. Kim, he's had his chance to do well. He's gone. Let him be gone. Let him be gone. We don't need him here. And it's not to put him down or to whatever. I don't mean that. It's just, it's a harsh business. He's not doing the job. He's paid too much. He needs to be gone. Yeah, again, okay, here's another question. What do you think you can get for him? Say you get him to play decently for the season and you move him. What do you think the return's going to be? What, a 7th round pick? If that, it's not worth all of that to get that back. Just get him out of here. It's over. Done. Go somewhere else. How many teams have cap space available to offload the likes of Armia? That's the problem, right? Okay, from what I know, 12 teams are over the cap off season, with about 4 or 5 really close to being over. And then there's 5 teams, 5, that have 5 million or more. And basically 3 of those are 5 to 6 million, a little more. And then there's, I was going to say Toronto, Chicago with 12 something. And then the Ducks have 19 million. So there's not a lot of teams to move to offload them. That's the problem. So you got to waive them. If someone picks them up, good riddance. You can have them. And if not, send them to Laval. So Tony the Mark asked Entertap, is Engstrom better than Kovacevic? Entertap says 100%. That's a judgment call because Kovacevic is here. We know what he's like. We don't know about Engstrom. Engstrom might be great where he's played already, hits NHL, and he's a bust. We don't know that until it happens. I don't know that you can say what you just said. As an opinion, okay, obviously you can have your opinion, but that's not proven out. Matheson, Savard, Gooley, Lindstrom, Jack-Eye made the best win. I think is going to go this way. But you're missing somebody. That's only 5 defensemen. Kovacevic was a great steal at that cap hit. I don't know what he's making, but he's gonna get picked up if we waive him. I believe that. Yeah, Kim, if I sound strong on we're all sharing our opinions, right? My opinion, your opinion, and my opinion is no better than anybody else's opinion. And I apologize if it's coming off that way. I don't mean it to be, but yeah, that's all we've got, our opinions, right? Yeah, I should learn a little bit more about Engstrom, but I do know from what I'm reading, people's opinions of him is that yeah, he's a dark horse to make the team, definitely. Renegade Man, the Heineman is kind of like a Lehkonen. Yeah, he plays the same type of game. So I only saw him in training camp last year. I've not really seen him play elsewhere, to be honest. So I don't know. But I do know that he looked good in camp last year. And I think is a possibility he could make the team. There's a lot of competition for a bunch of spots this year in camp. You know, their guys could win jobs. It's potentially possible. But Jason, Kovacevic is on the team and he's an asset, right? So if you waive him, more than likely you lose him for nothing. That's not a good way to manage your assets, right? You don't want to lose guys on waivers. That's not a good thing. if they want to get rid of him like that, then trade him and get something for him. But I wouldn't say just to waive him and lose him on waivers. And I don't agree with you. I think Kovacevic is a pretty good. I'm not saying he's not a leader or anything like that, but he's a good, solid defenseman. And I think it was a good pickup on waivers and good to have him in camp and the competition and all that. But you can't waive him because you'll lose him. I remember the last guy we lost on waivers. Was that Noah Juleson? Who, not the talent of a Kovacevic, and people were pissed that happened. And so for everyone to go, doesn't matter. If it happened, you'd all be pissed that they lost Kovacevic for nothing. That's my opinion. Ryan kind of agree with that. I mean, he hasn't shown that that's not true. He says Armia hit his max potential as a Hab, waiver buyout only realistic option outputs. I think so. Kovacevic led all defensemen in the league in giveaways last year or on the Habs? On a really poor defense. That's going to get better. And it wasn't a poor defense because of Kovacevic alone, anyway. Slavkovsky, top 3 or top 6? Not this year. It didn't pass the first time just now. I don't think Slav is a top 6 this year, no. He'll have to prove it anyway. The fact that they got Kovacevic for nothing, Jason, doesn't mean just give him away or let him go. Just it doesn't matter. It's asset management. You got to manage your assets to the benefit of the team, and that's not benefiting the team to just let him go. Heineman is more physical than Lehkonen. Yeah, I just did a video where he was. I talked about him in there. Apparently, he's a beast to play against. Heineman. Jason, you're right. Juleson has done absolutely nothing. But when we lost him to waivers, there was an uproar from fans. Bad management, fire the management, all that stuff. So now we should just lose other guys like that to waivers, and it's not going to be an uproar. You know, a lot of people just do that. They're going to be screaming blue murder that Hughes let that guy go. By the way, the reason Kovacevic was waived by the Jets was because they had no room. They had no choice but to waive him. They couldn't or trade him. I don't know why they didn't try trading him, or they didn't have time at the time it happened. But they didn't get rid of him on waivers because he was no good. This is a good, interesting question from Joe. Would I trade Brendan Gallagher to his hometown, Edmonton, while retaining 25% of his salary in 2025? Wait, we're doing. So you're talking not this season, but the season after, or the one after that? Because if it's the one after that, without a doubt, yes. If it's next season, I don't know. That's 3 years of 25%. That's I don't know if that's smart, but the cap will be going up. I don't know. That's a good question, though. I don't know. Slav has a lot to prove this season. A lot of guys have a lot to prove. If he's the real deal, then they'll prove it. Hey, Ronnie, how you doing? Do I think that Owen Beck will make the team? Thanks. Well, I did a video yesterday. Was it yesterday's video or the day before, right? So 3 guys that could possibly steal a roster spot. It was, I'm trying to remember. I know Heineman, Beck, I forget, and Joshua Roth. Of the three I put in there, I think Owen Beck's got the best chance. But a lot to do with that is, first of all, he was a very late cut. He was the last cut last training camp. He almost made the team then. With Devo out to start the season, kind of makes sense that maybe Owen Beck makes the team at least for that amount of time. Maybe get his 9 games into, as an audition and they can send them down. So yeah, I think Beck might have the best chance. Yeah. Do I think he will make the team though? That's not a given, no. Slavkovsky, top 3 or top 6 in Laval? Top 6. If he earns top 3, fine, but top 6, yeah. Matter of fact, if he goes to Laval, you better be playing him top 6. Or else what's the use in Laval if he's not playing top 6? Edmonton can't afford even 75% of Galley's contract. But you're talking 2 or 3 years down the road, that's different. But, yeah. For this upcoming season, no. And they wouldn't do it anyway. If they traded him this season, that's holding on to 4 years of retained salary. There's no way they're doing that. And a buyout for Galley not happening, maybe in the last season, but not happening with more than one season. It's too much. That's not going to happen, my opinion. Juleson, former first rounder with concussion problems. Yeah. But the point wasn't Juleson himself. The point is that when we lost him to waivers, there was an uproar about how bad the management is and how can they let that happen, all that. And you guys just want to, let him go to waivers. It's not, that's not going to go over well. I'd be pissed off if they just were that nonchalant about letting assets go like that. Ryan, at the deadline, that's a possibility. I don't know how long he's got left on his contract. I think he's got 2 years left, though. Well, Jason, I'm going to give you this scenario. So Jason says Kovacevic will be gone after this year, guaranteed. What if Habs have 3 absolutely devastating injuries on defense? And the guys are gone for a while. No, Kovacevic not going anywhere. The future will decide. Situations in the future, whatever. We can't predict them. I'm not saying you're wrong necessarily, but yeah, I think if they, it's a possibility though. You're right, but they'll trade him and they'll get something for him. But I mean, listen, with the injuries we had the last 2 seasons, anything's possible. Edmonton is already in cap hell and trying to sign Bouchard, no chance. But that's this season. Cap starts going up better, significantly after the season. So it could change a lot of things. So you're saying after, then Joe, then my answer is yes, I could see them moving Gallagher when there's 2 seasons left on his contract and then retaining salary. Sean, who was the best D last year? You guys got to give me a little bit more sometimes. I can't remember. Like if you ask me a question, I give you an answer, whatever. So you're thinking of asking me something else based on that. But by the time I see it, I've talked to I don't know how many other people. I don't remember everything all the time. So I could use a little more information on some of these comments. So I'm not sure what you mean by that. He was the best for the Habs last year. Look at the stats. Are we talking about Kovacevic, Sean? I don't know who you're talking about. I think Galley would likely end up in the same situation as Price. I think he'll end up injured and stuck with the Habs until retirement. I've said this before, and I think more than likely, considering it's Galley and he's probably going to be injured and not be able to play for the last 2 years of that, you know? And I would think teams that might be thinking of acquiring him, like say this year, they got to be looking at that and going, yeah, that's not going to be good. So I don't think he's movable. Jason, I think Gallagher was born in Edmonton, and either they moved to Vancouver or that's where his junior club was. I know he played hockey there, but I believe that's right that he was born in Edmonton. And Joe says it says Edmonton on his bio because he was born there. That's why. Where do I see Philip Mayshaw's future as a Hab? I feel like we have a lot of 5'9" wingers. You're probably right, but I mean, if he's good enough, he'll make it. I don't know. That's hard to, like you say, there's a lot of guys here. There's a lot of potential players that, that could be here over in the next few years. I don't know. I got to see how he plays as a professional. He hasn't played as a professional yet. He'll be in Laval this season. Let's see how he does. Listen, if you look at Kent Hughes' record, he traded Hoffman, no retained salary, and got stuff back for him. With that guy as my GM, I'm not just waving people. I'm giving him an opportunity first. That's what I say. Kovacevic is a stay-at-home defenseman. He is a David Savard replacement. No, you got to figure with the young kids that are coming up. I mean, Kovacevic is here for a little while, but I don't know that he's going to be here for long. No worries, Joe. If I do, for anybody out there I'm talking to, if I sound angry, I'm not angry. I'm not. So I don't know. I feel like I'm sounding harsh tonight. I hope I'm not. Isaac, I don't know enough about Florian, to be honest with you. I see him as, yes, I know he's tough and I know all that. I see him as a fourth liner, but like I said, I don't know enough about him except that he's Jack Guy's brother. I got to figure the Habs believed in his potential too. I don't think they just drafted him because he's Jack Guy's brother. I kind of think they did it for two reasons. Partially to show Arbor that they've got confidence in him and they want him to stay here as a Hab. And then partially because they might like another Jack Guy in the lineup eventually because of their more for their character, But I don't, honestly, as a player, I don't know how good he is. I have not seen him play. Hey, Eric, no worries. It's okay if you got in late. I'm probably another 10 minutes or so here. Matter of fact, yeah, I don't know. Slowing that down. Where was I? See, a lot of chatter is about Gallagher and Kovacevic. Yeah, it seems like it. Hey, Larry the Cable Guy. Do you think we got the best of the Petrie trade? Do you think we got the best of the Petrie trade? I mean, I don't know if we got the best. I don't think we lost it, but I don't know that. I think it's kind of even for both teams. It'll all depend on Lindstrom, right? If he is able, if he makes the team and he plays well, maybe we do win the trade. But right now, I think it's probably even. Matt, no, you can't call up Reinbacher if he is. This I don't know. Excuse me. If he's in Switzerland I don't think they can bring him in for that, but I'm not sure on that. They might be able to. I kind of want to say I've heard of that before. For Hudson, no. Hudson's in college hockey. No, he can't be. As a matter of fact, if I'm correct, Hudson can't be in camp except in the rookie part of the camp and development part. I don't think he can be in camp otherwise. And he can't play preseason games either, right? Because as a college player, he's an amateur. Doing even playing preseason, I believe, makes him a professional. He can't do that. So, no, you can't. I believe you can't call either of them up. Eric, and that's not so bad, right? Kovacevic does nothing spectacular, but everything okay, decent all around. There's nothing wrong with that, especially on your third pairing. I'm not going to get into this argument, by the way, about small players and big players and all that. That's not, I don't want to do that tonight. Hey, Bruce. It's not the only thing they wasted. Like the Toronto made some bad moves. I don't know. I'm happy about what Toronto's done because it just means we'll probably have a lot of fun making fun of them all year. But if I'm a Toronto fan, I don't think I'm happy with the offseason they've had. Habs will have to move a couple of defensemen by next year to make room for others. Maybe, maybe not, depending. I mean, I don't know. I mean, you have to move players to make room for others like all the time. So, I mean, yeah. Bruce, did you spell my name like backwards? Or like how? That's weird. RCI? That my new name? Anyway, yeah, I'm hoping Toronto gives me lots of material to make fun of. Even the worst NHL players can go around any of us and make a fool of all of us. That's because we're not professional hockey players. And yeah, if they can't do that to us, then they shouldn't be professional hockey players either. That's all I can say. All right, so I'm going to be here another 5 or 10 minutes. So it's time to get like your last questions in on anything you want to know. Oh, Bruce, is that the reason? That's okay. That's understandable. And hey, don't be sorry. I don't tell you not to drink if that's what you want to do. I get it. Sometimes I can't spell for my life, but you know. All right, so who's got the last questions for me? I can't believe we got 41 people in here. Wow. Before you leave, give a thumbs up if you're having a good time. I appreciate that. That's pretty good for Saturday night at this time of year. That's only my second. Eric, yeah, it's actually a good problem to have, right? All this good young defense. When you move them, you can get something back in a trade. 12-year-old Scotch. Scotch is a drink I can't drink. Honestly, I mean I can do it, but I don't like Scotch. But hey, enjoy it, man. I got my Scotch right here. You got your Scotch. Bruce, I appreciate that. I'm not the best, but you don't have to be the best to be nice to people, right? Besides, it's like a family here. So if I'm mean to people, I don't think anybody's gonna want to watch me. Well, certain people would like to see that, but no. Only people I'm mean to is like that racist piece of shit at the beginning of it, which you missed. People like that, yeah, I don't mind being mean to. The way to not make mistakes in your typing is to proofread it before you hit enter. Just look at what you wrote, make sure it's all right, and correct it if it's not, and then hit enter, and you won't have mistakes. Which is what I usually do. Very rare I make mistakes because I try to always proofread anything I'm putting out there. Born to be Hab. I did not know your name was Bruce, so that's that. Yeah, sorry, but now I do. It's like the other day. What was the thing? Okay, right. So now I don't mean to make a joke on this, but I kind of have to in a way. But so and rest in peace, Rick Jenneret. But Rick Jenneret, the voice of the Sabres, died yesterday. I got up yesterday morning, went on Twitter, and the first thing I saw was Hockey Junkie's post on that. And I didn't see the bottom of the post, so I just saw what Hockey Junkie wrote. And the top part of it, I didn't see. There was one line on the bottom I didn't see, and that's where I would have known what it was. But so I see something about Rick. He was a great voice, like something about Rick dying, and I'm looking at, hey, I'm not dead. I thought he was talking about me, and I got confused for a second. It was really weird. I'm not explaining it well, but yeah. And a bunch of people put in rest in peace, Rick, and I'm like, I'm confused here. Hey, I'm not dead. I'm alive. But that's the thought that went through my head. Well, Bruce, on that point, can I borrow your lungs? I'm sure your lungs look a lot better than mine. I don't need any comments on that, please. All the best, though, for you to not have smoked, and I kind of wish I had never. But growing up as a kid, everybody smoked around me. Almost every single adult I knew growing up smoked. And I didn't till I was, I tried here and there, didn't like it. And then, how old was I? In my 30s, I started smoking. But now I don't smoke cigarettes anymore. I gave up cigarettes beginning of the pandemic, so it's 3 years now. Ryan, I'm not really planning to go to any Habs games. I'm not really big on going to crowds right now. I don't think I'm going to go. So, no, I'm not planning on any. It's possible it could happen, but I'm not planning it. Besides, if I go to the game, I can't do the game for you guys here. I kind of prefer that. I wouldn't mind going to see a game and all that, but I kind of think I have a lot more fun doing the games here on YouTube with you guys. So I think I enjoy it more this way. Was I ever an Expos fan? Was I ever an Expos fan? Big time Expos fan. And then they left, and they left under shitty circumstances that I did not like, and I haven't watched baseball since, and it's 17 years. Till today, interesting story. So I've told you guys that Habs Guru, who's not here tonight, I'm kind of surprised. He gave me a present, and I've got the NHL package, which we did today. So you get baseball game. You get all baseball games too with that. So I watched a baseball game today. Actually, parts of two. I watched parts of the Boston New York game, and I watched a good bit of the Toronto Cincinnati game. That's the first time in 17 years that I've watched baseball. And I got to say this, and it surprised me. I enjoyed it. I didn't know any of the players. Well, I knew a couple of them by name. But I actually enjoyed it. So I got to say, I guess I miss baseball. And now that I got this pack, I might watch some baseball thanks to Guru. So I don't know. But I was a big baseball fan, yeah. Not over hockey, but it was close second. Eric, somebody put up there, what do you remember about Rick Jenneret? And I said, Mayday, Mayday, Mayday. How could you forget that call? I don't, that's a long time ago, though. I got, that's got to be 30 years ago, Mayday? Got to be. Bruce, I'm hoping I'm like your aunt. Listen, some people have the genes and they're not affected by it that much. But listen, I hope I do like she does. Although, will there be a planet still when I'm 94? I don't know. I missed the comment. Hang on. Eric, I saw games at Jarry Park. I must have seen 20 games at Jarry Park over the years when I was a kid. And yeah, of course, I've been to the Big O as well. I know. That's actually a good. I think I've seen more Expos games. You know what? I was gonna say no. I'm the opposite, but I think I was like that too. I think because baseball was way cheaper to go see. I probably saw more Expos games than Habs games at the Forum. Yeah, I think I might have. Bruce, unfortunately, that's how a lot of old people. That's what happened. You break something, and yeah. But like, awesome. I hope I live that long and have no problems either. I mean, listen, I can't say I don't have a bit of a smoker's cough or anything like that, but in general, knock wood, I'm okay. Yeah, not a lot of people live through an aneurysm there, Renegade Man. I know some people do, but not a lot do. And it's pretty quick though. You get an aneurysm, it hits you, boom, you're dead pretty much that quick. And listen, if I'm gonna die like that, I hope it's that quick. Yeah, Bruce, don't count on the Expos coming back or any other baseball team. Not happening. I was hoping they would get it done, and all that was all hope for nothing, and it's not going to happen. Pitch count changed baseball for the better. Explain that. The pitch clock. You mean count? Listen, in my day, guys finished more games than they didn't. Starters, they finished the job usually. Now, it's not often you see a complete game. Am I right? Did the Blue Jays lose again? They were winning 3-0, 3-1 when I turned it off because I was getting ready for this. But they were, so I don't know the end of the game. Bruce, I'm the same way. Hockey's my number one sport, but I was a big baseball fan. I love the Expos. You don't have to be in your 90s to have seen an Expos. I'm 60. I mean, when we got the franchise, I was 6 years old. So no. So they moved to the Big O in 77, I believe, right? So no, you don't have to be 90. You just got to be older than 50. Bruce, my great grandfather was 106 when he died. So longevity's in my family. I hope I've got it. Yeah, my grandfather died. My great grandfather. He was 106. He passed in 1972, 72 or 73. I do remember that he got a letter from, not a great name to have got, but he got a letter from then President Richard Nixon congratulating him on his age. Joe, it's the best way to believe me. I'm not super proud, but I mean, I come from a different era. Tim Raines and Rusty Staub, great players. Rusty Staub, the first big star here, and Tim the Rock Raines. You can't go wrong with those two guys being favorites. Have I taken the REM? No. I don't live on the South Shore right now. Isn't that the only one running from South Shore to Montreal and back? I hear it's very noisy, and the people that live around where the tracks are don't like it very much. Eric, I'm the same way. I feel 90 sometimes too. I think that's just a part of getting old. Entertap updated us. Jays won 4-3. Ryan, not interested in CFL at all, really. Honestly, CFL, I've never been a CFL guy. Ever. I never really enjoyed. I don't think I've ever watched a CFL game that I liked. Of the probably maybe 5 or 6 CFL games that I watched. What would be my top 6 for opening night right now? Suzuki centering Caulfield and Monahan, and Doc centering Newhook. And I'm going to say Anderson on the right side, but that could be different. But right now, I'm going to go with that. Eric went to Jarry Park in 74. Yeah, they were still playing there in 74. I'm sure I saw a game in 74. Well, Bruce, I hope you're right. I hope you're right. Knock wood on that, because my head is made of wood. Larry, I knew you were going to say for the college sports marshal. Yeah, no, listen, if I'm asked what teams I like, as a matter of fact, there was a question out, I don't know if it was on Twitter, someone asking, which professional sports teams do you cheer for? I go, not, it was actually asked in a way like how many, I don't know, something like that. I was like, yeah, just the one, Montreal Canadiens. That's it. I don't cheer for any other teams. Unless it's a special occasion or like Team Canada. That's different. Bruce, Bruce says, I remember Nixon. Trump makes Nixon look like a Boy Scout. Yeah, it makes Nixon look like an angel, actually, quite frankly. Here's some good old names. Rusty Staub, Coco LaBoy, Claude Raymond, Gary Carter, of course, Dawson Raines. And the favorite name, I think it was at Jarry Park. I don't think he wasn't here when they got to the Big O. John Boccabella. Love that. Love the way the announcer announced that. And Coco LaBoy, did he just pass away recently, Coco LaBoy? I saw something about that on Twitter. Rodney Scott, Ellis Valentine were Brad's favorites. Yeah, well, listen, Rodney Scott, when they released Rodney Scott, or did they release him or trade him? Isn't that Bill Lee was pissed? I remember that when they gave up on Rodney Scott. And Ellis Valentine, he had maybe the best arm from was he a center fielder or a right fielder? He had the best arm in the outfield I've ever seen. That guy can from the fence could throw a strike at home plate. Like, that's crazy. And I saw him do that a couple of times. Crazy arm. Well, Rick, I hope it's a good top 6. I don't know 100% that that's how it'll be, but that's kind of how I see it. The Big O opened in late 76, but the Expos moved in 77, right? The year after the Olympics. which was, I'm thinking 77, where I kind of hadn't been following baseball for like 2 or 3 years and didn't know, but I started following them again in 77 or 78. And then it just, oh, no, it was 79 actually. I started following them again, and then became a big baseball fan again. I just answered that. Which players do I see playing on the top line with Suzuki and Caulfield? I see Monahan. Could anybody else play there? I mean, other players could play there, but I see Monahan. And the other guy that I'll tell you, the other guy might surprise you that I would say that might play there is the guy that hooked up with Suzuki after Caulfield got hurt, and that's Raphael Harvey-Pinard. There is definite chemistry there, but I don't know if having a line with 3 smallish guys it makes sense as your number one line, but I don't know. I'd be interested to see how Harvey-Pinard plays on a line like that with those guys. But I think it's going to be Monahan. It's just like, you're just a kid, man. You're just. It was your birthday at the beginning of August. Did I say happy birthday? If I didn't, happy birthday, belated. Eric, no. What spelled the end for the Expos was, in my opinion, was the owners at the time. They were too afraid to take the chance and buy land to build a downtown ballpark. Right? They were too afraid to do that, to put out the money to do that. And because they didn't do that, if they would have had a downtown ballpark before the Expos left, the Expos would still be here. And that's what killed the Expos. The other thing was the rights for the TV rights. The Jays were bad about, I don't know how it happened, but Montreal near the end, they were paying to have their games broadcast. They were paying to have it, not getting paid, paying out to do that. That's insane. So yeah, we got I think it was very unfair how the Expos were treated here and taken away from us. And then Major League Baseball saying, there's the fans in Montreal, they're not good. No, we were good. There's a good name from the Expos, Hubie Brooks. Good player. I like Hubie Brooks. Bruce, to say that, I think Ken Singleton was a great New York Met. I don't know if he was here long enough to be considered a great Expo, right? Because he got traded to the Mets. Oh, I forget who we got. It was a big trade at the time. I think it was the Mets. Wasn't it the Mets? Yeah. Rick, Joshua is in my video of 3 players who could crack the lineup. I believe, and if you ask Matt, if you know the channel, my co-host, Matt, he thinks Roy's going to make the team and then win the Calder Trophy. So, network TV followed the Jays more. Yeah, because, and listen, when I was growing up, Montreal was the center of the universe in Canada, and then somehow it shifted over to Toronto. I guess after 76 and the separation bullshit. Pedro Martinez, great picture here. Brian Little and Casey Candell. Boy, those are names you're not going to hear a lot. I remember those guys. The trouble with Trump, he got one good idea out of 10 stupidities. He had one good idea, Trump? I don't think he ever had one good idea in his life. You don't know when he's right and wrong? I'll tell you, it's very easy to tell. When he opens his mouth and he talks, he's wrong. Very simple. The Spurs needed a championship, but kind of that the strike was it a strike or a lockout in 94? That just screwed us. We probably would have won the World Series in 94. And then 95, well, they just sold all the good players. Gone. Woody Fryman, wasn't he? What was he called? The fireman? He was a good relief pitcher, Woody Fryman. I liked him. Monahan could center RHP. I don't think Monahan is going to play center. If Guy Lafleur was a player today with the skills and all that today, yeah, he would be as great a player today as he was back then. What's this about baseball getting a salary cap? They don't want anything to do with the salary cap. They do the what? The luxury tax? We were the A's of the 80s and 90s. We were the Expos. That's who we were. Well, Ken Singleton played for the Mets, no? Anybody out there know if I'm right or wrong? Isn't that where we traded him to? The Mets. Why would Tim Wallach be forgotten? A great third baseman. Eric, that the fact that they didn't get a downtown ballpark, that killed them. I'm not going to be too big on cheering for the Blue Jays. They're born to be a Hab, but no, I jumped ship. I was angry at Bud Selig and Major League Baseball in general for the way they talked about Montreal fans, and then they just sort of tore our team away from us. And no, I was pissed off. I'm just gonna look for. I'm gonna be taking. Oh, geez, I can't. I don't believe the time we've been at this. I'm way over my time. Just I couldn't tell you if the A's compared to the old Expos. I don't watch baseball, so. Do I remember the third baseman before Wallach? Wasn't it Larry Walker? Am I right about that? Someone tell me before I go. Born to be a Hab, you might be right about Fryman being a sidearm pitcher. I don't remember him grunting every time he'd pitch, though. Big guy, blonde hair, third baseman for. Wasn't Larry Walker before Tim Wallach? Oh, right. You're right. Larry Parrish. I don't know what I'm thinking. You're 100% right. Walker was an outfielder. Larry Parrish. That's who. He was a great third baseman, Larry Parrish. All right. On that note, I am going to take off. I'm sorry. I'm kind of hungry. My stomach's a little upset because I haven't eaten yet. All right. So before I get sick at all, I'm a little nauseous right now for some reason. Hang on. That's weird. All right. Okay, I'm going to take off. So before you leave, give a thumbs up. I appreciate that. I will be back. I'm working on videos. Tomorrow is a day off, though, for me. I go visit my dad. yeah, so I'll have some videos coming out next week. I'll be back on Wednesday for the Wednesday night show, and we are getting closer and closer to NHL games coming up. So hopefully there'll be more news out there than next time I do this. And that's it. Thanks everybody for being here. I appreciate that. And I don't know what else I want to say, but till next time, stay safe out there. Peace out, y'all, and I'll see you soon. See everybody. Have a good night. It is Saturday night, and it's pretty early. So enjoy the evening, and I'll see you soon. That's it. I'm not going to babble. I'm taking off. Ciao, everybody.